financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is how to save your home from foreclosure and eliminate credit card debt. Hot topic in an inflationary market. Good morning, Brian Small.
Good morning, Ken. Pleasure to be here. And it is a hot topic, and it's going to get to be hotter and hotter. We'll talk about that further in the show.
It's not time for a commercial yet. Jeffrey Kirchner, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
How's everything in the disability world?
It's plugging along. Things are getting a little bit smoother for claimants. The laws are getting a little bit harder, but hearings themselves
Hearings are better, moving faster?
Cases are definitely moving a lot faster.
Sounds good. Jim Simasco,
Yes, good morning, Ken.
stepping in for Pat.
Yes, I am.
How are you?
It's a pleasure to be here.
I know.
Good.
I heard there's a big victory.
Yes, the Court of Appeals did see it our way in one of our cases, which usually happens. We like to follow the law. We like to have winning cases.
If everyone remembers, we actually covered a show on this, in that there was a Court of Appeals challenge that you guys were the lead on with respect to the issue on Medicare and doing the, I think it was the quadro in the separation case.
That's correct.
And that, so the decision came down foursquare in your guys' favor?
Absolutely.
All right, that's great. So we're on a separate show. We're gonna do a deep dive on that when Pat gets back, and we're gonna go over it. But congratulations to you guys. That was a big win.
Thank you.
So let's talk about foreclosure, eliminating credit card debt. Brian, you're going to be center stage here, so I hope your game is, you brought your A game today.
I did, always.
Case study.
You know what you don't talk about.
I don't know what I don't talk about.
You don't talk about Bruno.
Okay, explain to me about Bruno.
No, I'm just going to leave it alone. Keep going.
Is this like a comic figure from an era that I missed?
Absolutely.
Who's Bruno?
Bruno is a character in a movie that is on Disney, which is one
Was
of the
the name Bruno?
It happens to have been one of the hottest songs in the country just a few months ago. So, anyway.
So once again, I'm not up to speed because I'm burying my head in financial crisis and legal issues and writing briefs and doing things like that.
No, possibly because you live under a rock, but that's okay.
Okay, so I have to look up Bruno. I will. Okay. Does Bruno have a last name?
You just go on with the show now.
Jessica and Ron is our case study. We'll talk about them instead of Bruno. Okay. They're in their mid-40s, combined income $120,000 a year. Some good things. Ron is back to work after being off due to COVID shutdown. They have a home in Farmington Hills, market value $375,000, high mortgage $350,000. They have an IRA for $150,000, cash in the bank $7,500.
Looking pretty solid, not bad.
Bad things.
Uh-oh.
They're 10 months behind on the mortgage. They took a forbearance during COVID, and then they have not been able to catch up. Their mortgage payment's $2,600, so they're $26,000 behind, and they have $100,000 of credit card debt.
Okay,
So now
that's
now
not
what do
so
you think?
pretty.
Not so pretty. Okay.
Not so pretty.
Jerry the bartender enters center stage. Jerry, who they rely on for financial, personal advice on a regular basis at the local pub, has given them a proposed solution to their problem.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
He says if you cash out your IRA on the $150,000, you can still avoid the 10% penalty because of the COVID rule that they put in place. You can pay off your credit cards, pay off the mortgage arrearage, and you can save your credit score and any stigma that goes with bankruptcy.
Wow.
Jerry's thought this out thoroughly.
Jerry should continue to pour martinis and shut his mouth.
Well, so you're saying you disagree with Jerry?
I 100% disagree with Jerry. There's nothing in that piece of advice that has any logic whatsoever.
I'm surprised you didn't say buy Keno tickets.
Yeah, oh, well, that you could win a lot of money if you play Keno.
Can't win if you don't play.
That's right.
I have to challenge you on a couple points. Number one is, I know from your MO that you must talk to a lot of Jerrys, because it's not unusual for you to have a drink at a bar, correct? So you must talk to bartenders.
So,
Or when you go to the bar...
not unusual for me to have a drink at the bar. Okay. When was that? No.
What else you gonna do there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, eat dinner, have a cocktail. That's fine.
Do you talk to the bartender? Are you personable?
I am personable.
Okay. So bartenders have a wealth of knowledge, wouldn't you
They're trying
say?
to sell you more drinks, yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm being facetious, but what Jerry is saying, would you agree with me, is not unusual for, not only would Jerry may have said this, but a mortgage broker would tell them the same thing.
Mortgage brokers say it, but you know who wouldn't say it? The guy who's managing the IRA. He won't say it.
He won't say it because he doesn't want to see the IRA.
He doesn't want to see the assets under management disappear. So at the end of the day, what you're getting when you go to Jerry is Jerry's got this idea, and it on some level it actually theoretically makes sense until you really dive into it.
Because Jerry
and
doesn't have a vested interest here. Jerry isn't the broker. The mortgage broker wants to sell you a new mortgage. Wants you to refinance.
The investment advisor wants to keep your assets under management.
Okay. So, all right, here's the analysis. But nevertheless, Jerry is wrong, correct?
100%.
Okay. Here's on the screen. This is what happens with Jerry's thing. Right now, before Jerry, we got $7,500 in the bank. We got $150,000 in the IRA plus the house. We have a net worth of $82,500. After Jerry's solution, we still have $7,500 in the bank. We have zero IRA. The mortgage is now $324,000 because we've paid it down, the arrearage, and our net worth is $58,500. So we've gotten rid of the debt.
Yeah.
But our net worth has gone from $82,500 to $55,000.
Well, you gotta pay the bill.
We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to analyze this.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP.
I was married for 57 years before my husband died.
Simasco Law had established a trust for them before this happened.
There's so much to do in the beginning, but after about a month, you're kind of alone.
We deal with estate planning and trusts every day.
If you continue to have good support and know that your finances and your estate is in order, that's one thing that's so comforting. I would just highly recommend Simasco Law.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're back. All right, so at the break, I just want to say Jeff and I did some research on Bruno. Bruno first appeared as a Disney character all the way back in 1950 in the form of Cinderella's pet bloodhound. A loyal and loving pet to Cinderella, Bruno is in constant battle with Lady Tremaine's pet cat Lucifer, and their bickering frequently gets him sent out of the house.
Bruno's a character in Encanto, which is the newest Disney film.
Is it the same Bruno Magical we're talking about?
It's maybe the same name, but it's not the same character.
Okay. And you never heard of Bruno?
Never.
Had you ever heard of Bruno?
No.
So maybe you need to work a little harder and watch a little less Disney. Okay, now let's go back to the show.
If it was appropriate to
It's
be
not.
sticking my middle finger up.
No, it's not. It's not even in this state of affairs, in this world we live in, that is still not appropriate, at least on this show. All right, so back to Jerry's analysis. So they got rid of the debt, but their net worth went down.
Right. And they're gonna, the biggest problem with having their net worth go down is not that they won't recover it over the long period of time, is that they took that $150,000 retirement IRA, which now just to get back to having $150 in their IRA is going to take an extremely long time, versus the fact that $150 at interest
Because
growing.
you're only putting $15,000 a year away into the IRA anyway.
Right. So, but that $150.
It's going to take them 9 years to get back to there.
It'll
But
take them
the-
a lot longer.
Yeah, and
Yeah, because now you put the money in and it goes down. It doesn't go up in value.
but the
The
150.
money's not continuing to grow.
Yeah.
Right. Their 150 that was already there was continuing to grow and would continue to grow, and they've got to
Yeah,
start
in
back
10
at zero.
years, that 150 would be more,
like 400.
plus they're adding 15 more a year
Right.
each year.
So
Yeah.
they just shot themselves in the foot, even though they got rid of their debt.
they clobbered their retirement. All right, so is there a better alternative?
Actually, probably Chapter 13 bankruptcy in this situation.
All right, before we get there, what about Jerry's comments? Save your credit score and you don't want the stigma of bankruptcy.
First of all,
Tell me about credit scores.
there is no stigma of bankruptcy anymore. There really isn't. It doesn't impact you beyond the fact that you are already maxed out on your credit anyway, right? So you're not getting more credit until you do something. In this case, eliminating the debt will get you
Plus your
back
credit
to
score recovers.
Yeah, your credit score will heal and get better
Well,
and
then
better
now we
and
switched
better.
from bankruptcy to credit score by my error. But here's the stigma. It's not stigma of filing bankruptcy. There is a stigma that exists, and it's an important one. The stigma is you do not want to be 70 years old and broke and unable to live in retirement. The stigma of being dependent upon your children in retirement is a far greater problem to bear than this worry about a bankruptcy. First of all, you file bankruptcy, nobody knows.
No, really.
You don't even go to court, do you?
Well, there is court.
But you do it.
Court these days
do it on the phone.
is via Zoom or
Yeah.
on the phone. Yeah, it's made simple. It actually improves privacy. Is it a public matter? Yes, of course it's a public matter. However, unless
nobody knows.
you tell somebody,
They have to dig to find it anyway.
Yeah.
Dig when-
I mean, it's going to show up on your credit report. Okay, great. 2 years later, your credit score is back to normal. You can get mortgages, you can get car loans, you'll get credit cards. In this case, what they have is the need to get out of debt and the need to keep their IRA all at the same time.
All right, so let's talk about Chapter 13. What do you do with the mortgage? How does Chapter 13 work for them?
So their biggest problem is what's the most important debt? They want to keep their home. If they didn't want to keep their home, they could sell their house and possibly deal with their credit cards through debt resolution or through...
Well, should they sell their house, take the equity if they had enough, and just pay off the credit cards?
Never.
Because that defeats the equity in the house.
Right, and it, again, hurts their net worth. But in this case, we can restructure...
Let's stop on that for a second. See, because we're making a big point that's easy to miss. What we're saying is, if you've got, let's say you had $150,000 of equity in your home, and in that circumstance, which they don't because it's in their IRA, you don't want to just sell the home, take the $150,000 and pay off the credit cards dollar for dollar. You can do that, and some people would argue that that's the right way to handle something, but we would argue differently because your equity in your home, if you have any, your IRAs, these are the two key factors that build towards a retirement. And if you have been able to start to accumulate funds in that direction, you don't want the problem of getting rid of credit card debt to eliminate that savings, to eliminate that retirement. Because there's other avenues of getting rid of credit card debt for less than paying a dollar for dollar to eliminate
But
it.
what you're also missing, though, is the fact that, okay, you sell your home, you take the equity, you pay off the credit cards, you have to have someplace else to live. Where's the money to go somewhere else?
Yes, you'd have to buy, because
you
you
need
don't
that
want to
money-
go into the rental market.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you may not have a choice
Yeah,
either.
and in Jessica and Ron's case, they don't have equity in the house anyway. It's the IRA. So how do you take care of the mortgage?
So, Chapter 13 allows you to restructure your debt. And so we've got $26,000 arrearage on the house, which the mortgage company now is saying, pay us, or we're going to foreclose. Through Chapter 13, we can take that same $26,000 and spread it out over 5 years at no interest and force the mortgage company to accept it. So rather than having to come up with $26,000 immediately, they have to come up with $430 a month. $433
For 60 months.
For 60
Plus
months.
make their current payment.
Yes, but they also won't have to pay their credit cards
Well, why?
because the least important debt is an unsecured debt in Chapter 13. And in Chapter 13, we can pay it as little as 0 cents on the dollar.
And you're suggesting that Mr. Visa is the least important debt?
I 100% guarantee it.
Well, what about Mr. MasterCard?
Mr. MasterCard is right there, Ty.
Let's take a break. We'll be back and decide who's first, Mr. Visa or Mr. MasterCard.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. I want to remind our viewers to listen to us for Law and Reality Live on the Praise Network, Tuesdays 10 o'clock a.m. and Saturdays 7 o'clock a.m. and on KISS 105.9, Sundays 7 o'clock a.m. We have a live seminar coming up. Our next one is on Wednesday, September 28, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Do your estate plan before it's too late. We're going to go over the elements of an estate plan, how to avoid probate, key planning points you need to know. Attendees receive a gold certificate for $300 off the cost of an estate plan. Sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. The cost of the seminar is free. It's a great opportunity to put that estate plan in place that you need to do. Take advantage of it. Call, be sure and sign up. Seminars fill up fast. We're going to remind you, you can always come in to THAV Gross for a free consultation. We do them via teleconference, in office, anytime you want to do it, whatever is your comfort zone. We're happy to accommodate you, giving that we're kind of coming out of COVID, but people are still have some concerns. Just call 888-235-HELP or go online to sign up for a free consult. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business issues, elder law issues with Pat, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner. Again, sign up at lawnreality.com or thavgross.com or call 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Also, check out our website for free reports. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by myself and Jeff Linden. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formation Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. The Retiree's Guide to Social Security from Pat Simasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV Gross, Simasco Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
Pat was recommended by a friend who insisted that we really needed a trust. And he said, I know somebody who will do a good job for you.
At Simasco Law, we deal with estate planning and trusts every day.
We had excellent service from Simasco Law. Any questions we had were addressed. Our estate is in order and it had been set up so well that nothing needed to be done. I would just highly recommend Simasco Law.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem. All right, so I understand first of all, it's Mr. Visa and Ms. MasterCard.
Okay.
And you're saying they're the least important. But how do you,
unsecured creditors are the least important. Whether
so
it's
they
a
never
hospital
get
bill,
they never get anything in a Chapter 13?
They sometimes get something. They get the leftovers. We pay the most important creditors first. That would be your mortgage, then your car, then theoretically the Internal Revenue Service and the state of
what
Michigan.
drives the train? How much you can afford to pay?
Yes.
Based on your income?
Yes.
All right, so based on their income for Jessica and Ron, the credit cards wouldn't get anything in this case?
No, maybe a tiny little bit.
Just out of curiosity, how is that determined as to who to have the priority?
So, well, that's it. There's the priority. There's an order of payment of claims, which is codified in the bankruptcy code. It tells you that secured creditors get paid first. Priority creditors,
like the mortgage company.
Priority creditors like the state of Michigan and the IRS, if the taxes are less than 3 years old, get paid second. Then you can classify other creditors differently. Alimony claims,
Who's last?
property settlements. Unsecured creditors are at the bottom.
And unsecured creditors are Visa, MasterCard, credit cards, medical bills, anything
Personal
that's
loans,
anything
anything-
that's not secured.
Right.
All right, so based upon their income, before filing, they were negative $2,400 a month because they were paying $2,600 for their, or $2,500 for their credit cards, 400 utilities. The thing they get rid of in the Chapter 13 is they're not going to pay anything on their credit cards, right?
Right. Basically, what we're doing is we take a look at their income. We go, here's your income, here's all the expenses that are allowed by the court. What's left? Whatever's left, is that enough money to fix the mortgage problem? So the first question is, we look at is that true? We know that we need $433 a month to fix a $26,000 problem. Yes. Is there anything left over after that? Let's say there's...
Well, here I've got 167 left
Okay,
over.
so $167 is left, and that would be used
Fees.
to pay fees and costs, but at the end of the
Do your
day,
attorney fees get paid out of that?
they do.
Yeah. So it's not even, so that just shows how good the Chapter 13 is the cost of the Chapter 13 is really effectively borne by your creditors.
It is, because if my fee
Because they get less money.
If my fee is $0, the creditors get more money. If my fee is $1 million,
They get less.
they get less money.
Right. So they're paying your fees.
They are paying the fees effectively. That's correct.
All right, so here's where, so at the end of 5 years,
3 years, 5 years, but in this case, 5s.
they've eliminated all the credit card debt,
They're current on their house.
and their budget and their income covers their expenses.
It does.
Okay, so let's look and see where they come out.
Way ahead.
If we go back to where we were when we talked with Jerry at the beginning, they still have the $7,500 of cash in bank. We just kept that as a constant. Their IRA is now worth $191,450. I've given it growth at 5% over those 5 years
Reasonable.
without making additional contributions.
That's reasonable.
Okay. The house I left at the same $375. The balance on the mortgage is now down to $300 because they've paid down, for 5 more years on principal. They have 0 credit card debt. Their net worth is $273,950. Now shift back to what Jerry the bartender said and what we agreed the mortgage broker would also tell them to do. What was their net worth there?
$58,500, something like that.
The difference between the two is it's not a close call.
That's $225,000
It's
difference.
the difference between making a fatal mistake and making the right move. And that's problematic in a lot of ways. People do not realize it, and professionals do not do an adequate job of telling them that they need to explore that option.
Well-
More professionals, accountants, mortgage brokers, bartenders, are going to be telling people to refinance, cash in the IRA. They're not going to be saying, explore your options through bankruptcy. And in this case, the difference is night and day, life and death, retirement versus no retirement. Final words.
100% correct. Make sure if you're facing a problem like this, come see us. Don't listen to Jerry the bartender.
Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.